How did you get out there?
Fire escape.
It's 20 stories.
Your doorman's intimidating.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Parker.
Not much to tell, really.
Peter lives with his aunt and uncle.
Did you catch that spider guy yet?
No, but we will. This guy wears a mask like an outlaw.
I think he's trying to do something maybe the police can't.
Can't?
If you're gonna steal cars, don't dress like a car thief.
You a cop?
You seriously think I'm a cop in a skin-tight red and blue suit?
Who are you?
People out here trying to hate on the Amazing Spider-Man. That's what I don't get. That last Spider-Man, it was all right, but it was just Spider-Man. This Spider-Man is amazing.
So you're saying with Amazing Spider-Man, this is a Spider-Man movie that you've been waiting to see.
Well, listen.
That's a direct quote from you last week.
No, wait a minute. I like the way you just like, Negro, quit lying now because you know what you said. I was like,
wait. When I
haven't denied anything.
When I said you didn't go like, that's true, I said that. You like, well, wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a what?
I was thinking out of context. What I said later.
All of a sudden, I turned to Uncle Reed. No, hold on. Wait a minute, son. I didn't say them words now. Hold on.
I hate this whole soundbite culture.
No. I did say that. And there were certain elements that I was looking forward to in this Spider-Man that was not present in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. And here's the deal. I get it if people don't really like this Spider-Man, or they're confused about it, or they just downright say this is unnecessary, because in a certain way, this is unnecessary. We did a short review for this before we actually did this one, because Leon, you hadn't seen it yet.
Right, I just saw it tonight.
Yeah, and you are the Spider-Man. You the guy that cried. I think you cried through all three Spider-Man movies for different reasons.
No, just the first one.
They finally brought Spider-Man to the screen, and you were crying because he was there and they didn't mess it up. And then you cried in Spider-Man 2 because you hated that movie so bad. And then you cried in Spider-Man 3 because you were like, oh, I'm redeemed. And then you cried even harder when you realized that you were the only one that liked that movie. And then you cried with Cyrus when you were
I like having you tell my origin.
Yeah, it is. This is the reboot.
I'll let co-host do it next time.
No, this is the reboot of the Leon love for the Spider-Man movies.
You did retcon it a bit.
Yeah. This is my new version. I had to add something different.
So this is the Mark Webb version.
Yeah,
where you just retell what's been told before, but you put your own spin on it, where people go like, why did I have to see that?
Oh, this is Corey Coleman's version right here. No.
Web of Corey Coleman.
No. I mean, let's give people a little bit of history. I mean, Spider-Man had been trying to be brought to the screen for years. Finally, in 2002, they got it there. Sam Raimi, everybody was overjoyed when he brought it there. So 10 years since that last movie. And then we had two other movies.
First movie.
Yeah, since the first movie. Yeah. And we have been talking about this, co-host. I mean, I really do. Now, I know there's mixed feelings on it here, especially with you, Leon, but really for a while, Spider-Man 2 was the pinnacle for a lot of people of superhero movies.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's been articles where, Spider-Man 2 has always been like right there, because I always thought, am I alone in thinking this? Because every time I watch it, it seems like a flawless movie.
No, a lot of people.
I mean, everybody has their opinion.
Leon, you are alone here.
Flawless.
There have been articles.
I can count so many flaws in that movie.
Articles.
The things that you guys don't let slide anywhere else, and somehow that movie gets a pass. And I was like, wow, does nobody really see everything that's fucked up in
we
that
have
movie?
got to stop. You at this point, you were that crazy guy who's on the corner talking, yelling at people, talking about doom is coming and life is.
But one day doom will come, and I'll be right.
Way too late.
We gonna live forever.
Way too late to appreciate it.
Now I see Leon dressing up in a Doctor Doom outfit, actually coming for us.
Yeah. No, you're the crazy guy with the long beard shouting at the cave. Wondering why everybody else is not as crazy as you are. No, everybody loves Spider-Man 2 except you. You're the other guy. Hey, like co-host said, there's been articles written about this. There's been articles. There's been articles. There are articles that say, why does Leon not see Spider-Man 2 for the perfection that it is?
I'm sorry.
It's been archived, Leon.
How many of those articles weren't written in crayon? That's the question.
No, Leon, do you know those lapses of memory that you have where you just don't remember like days gone by? That's when the government had you in research because they don't understand you. Well, you don't like Spider-Man 2. But no.
Clearly Oscorp was doing experiments on your brain to see what would happen if we took this guy and made him not like Spider-Man 2, but like Spider-Man 3.
People are puzzled by your brain, man. When you die, your brain's going to be sitting there next to Einstein and Hitler's because people are going to say, how come you didn't like Spider-Man 2? But a lot of people have mixed feelings about these movies. But I think to some degree, now you have this film here, and they've rebooted it. Sony has rebooted it because they're not giving that property away.
They are not.
Exactly.
They're like, I don't care how many of y'all want Spider-Man and Avengers. Fuck you.
No.
Which
Any
people
argument you want from this film company about like, oh well, we thought it was appropriate now to reboot. No, just shut up. Forget about all that. The truth is, they lose the license if they don't do a movie with Spider-Man every so many years, and they ain't losing that license. If like Andrew Garfield ain't coming back for the next one, get ready for the next untold story of Spider-Man.
No, they hanging on to that shit. They got that. They fighting that mouse off.
they got that
I don't
shit.
give a fuck how powerful you stay away from my bitch right here. This is my man.
They got that shit locked down. I mean,
that's what Sony even had. They got an arm around Spider. This is my man. You ain't having him.
And information like that should always worry you because they're on a time. They're on a time clock.
It should worry you if
they're watching iCarly right now looking for the next Peter Parker. I guarantee it.
Well, it should worry you depending on the product, and that's what people are split here because so everybody's heard the story here. Mark Webb, who's only directed one other feature, and it was an independent feature, 500 Days of Summer, which people love, but
great
no
film.
Special effects, no superhero stuff, no big budget. And so he got this, and people saying, well, literally, people thought there was a conspiracy. They said, did they give it to this guy because his last name is Webb? I mean, people were actually saying this.
No. I believe that played a factor in it.
See, again, that's that crazy thought right there.
Leon, did you read articles about the?
No, I remember.
I do read some articles that you don't write,
but yes, so
the bad ones.
So
where are the articles, Leon?
Yeah,
I don't see the articles.
And now they have they talked about the casting. They said Andrew Garfield is going to be the next Peter Parker. He's a British actor, and people are like, well, I really haven't seen anything that he's just greatly impressed us with. But then they said we're going to bring Gwen Stacy in instead of Mary Jane, and then everybody's like, oh, well, they're changing up a little bit. And Emma Stone, she's a good actress, so okay, we got her. And then they said, okay, but even more than that, to make things different, yeah, it's going to be a reboot, but we're going to throw something different in there. In this story, you're going to learn why Peter Parker was separated from his parents, and we're going to give you a different villain in this too. We're going to put hints of Norman Osborn in there, but the Lizard, the villain you wanted from the original series, because we saw who's that actor?
Dylan Baker played Kirk Connors.
Yeah, played Kirk
Connors.
And
they kept teasing
in 3 movies.
Yeah.
Time is coming.
And so,
you know all too well if they'd done the movie with Tobey Maguire, it suddenly would have been some other guy playing Kirk.
Yeah, it would have.
Dylan Baker got Billy Deed on this.
I mean, that dude Dylan Baker was turning into a lizard in real life. He was getting so. But so they said, yeah, we get Reese Ifans as the Lizard in this movie, and the fans say, isn't that enough? I mean, we're changing things up, but we're giving some of the fans who had a problem with the previous movie something new here too, while rebooting the whole thing. Everybody's happy, and it didn't really turn out that way. For some people, yes, and some people, no. As we're about to see right here. Now, I want to leave. I kind of want to leave an air of suspense here, because before we started, Cyrus was like, "Well, Leon, you know you're the big Spider-Man fan. We are eager to hear what you have to say. So that means you get to go last."
Okay.
He's gonna sit there and be quiet.
Yeah.
Something Leon is really used to at this point.
When he's determined to not let us know, I can't. He's like, I'm not playing poker with him. Is all I'm saying.
And Leon, all I'm saying too is I know these are haters right here. So I just want to get this shit over with, So, but no, we were joking around, and when our short review, I was messing around with you guys, talking about how much you let me down with your opinions. I was just kidding around, because I do get your complaints, but let's go ahead.
You had time to stop to think what came out of your mouth.
That's you had a week long to backpedal on that. That's nice.
That's a little backpedal.
That's a nice little soft shoe you did there. Leon, now that look, you had a little shuffle off the buffalo at the end.
Leon, I thought he was reviewing Harry Potter all over again. He was so excited.
Come on, man, that was
supercharged.
All that was for entertainment.
What I said about me loving that movie? Well, yeah, I did love it until you guys didn't, and I can't be the odd man out.
No, I will never compromise on how I feel.
You know, Leon, I've never seen a review with fireworks, and that's what I saw.
Y'all didn't even see that. In fact,
you were just shocked that we didn't love it. Was the thing? You come in like, wasn't that amazing? And
I didn't even get to do my review because I was sitting up here.
Put your jaw on the floor.
I know, Cyrus. But I understand your complaints. I really do.
Yeah, and the thing is, we only had 20 seconds to talk about it before. So
exactly.
I was trying to go after what I didn't like about it more than what I did, because I don't hate The Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's the weakest of the 4 that have been made, though, and I know a lot of people are going to be really upset at me for saying that.
Why would they?
Well, because there's a lot of people who are really enjoying this film. In fact, more critics than not are giving this like strong reviews, which really surprises me because I think the biggest problem here is that Peter Parker himself is just kind of an unlikable little punk.
He's not kind of. He is unlikable.
Well, he's rude to Aunt May at every single turn. He just whines and pouts. He's mean to almost everybody. When he's smack talking criminals, you're just like, wow, dude, you're just kind of adding insult to injury. You're just kind of being a jerk at this point, you know? just stop.
Well,
you're not funny. You're just an asshole.
Man, being a punk ass yourself, you'd recognize it.
Hey,
all right, I'm sorry. Yes, I mean, please continue. Point understood. Yes.
I had a hard time really getting into him, and it didn't make it any easier on me to identify with him. That Mark Webb really wanted to portray him like more as a human spider, really, like to really bring out that element of him. So there's a lot of stuff in there where, like, there's a point where he's webbing all over the lizard, like a crazed spider, like spraying all over him. And at first I was like, oh, that's cool looking. But then the more I thought about it, the more it kind of bugged me. I was like, you know, it's just making him more and more alien, less and less relatable to me as a troubled teenager, a guy we're supposed to actually like, and more like a guy who's going to actually turn into some big crazy mutant Jeff Goldblum fly looking thing. I don't know. It kept distancing me from it. And I didn't want to be distanced from it. I was holding on to this movie with everything I had, going, please, I don't want to dislike you, please. Well, but it kept fighting me back.
Well, I think it's because we all have a sense of what Peter Parker kind of represents to us, where he's the nerdy, shy kid that's always willing to, and always wanted to do the right thing. With
bullshit.
With this,
I'm sorry. Keep going. Yes, co-host, please.
Okay, and
you're not going to get mad at him?
No, 'cause I'm not worried. I'm not worried about him. I keep it cool and calm like Spidey and Batman, all my heroes. I don't fly off the handle. You can't work like that. But the thing is, yeah, we all have an idea of what Peter Parker represents to us. And my problem with this movie is this is more like a marketing group's idea of what Peter Parker should be to get in the target audience they want, which is teenagers right now. So, you know, everything I think people were worried about, especially with Twilight being so huge, are they going to Twilight, you know, Peter Parker? And to some extent, I will say no, but to some others, I will say yes. You know, this is the first time where I've noticed Peter not just being a jerk, but it's where I like to call him Peter Stalker in this movie because, you know, he does things that I know Peter Parker just want to do, like stalking the shit out of Gwen Stacy, to where this guy already has like pictures of her on his computer. You know, he's taking pictures of her from a distance. And I'm like, you know what? The only reason this guy is kind of getting away while the audience is going to give him a pass is because he looks like Andrew Garfield. He doesn't look like the creepy, nerdy fucking kid that you wouldn't even notice in a crowd. And to me, Peter Parker has always been the kid you never noticed.
He's not Andrew from Chronicle.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and that was kind of like, I was like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to update this. You're trying to make him cool, but you know, he's already not very relatable to, you know.
It's like they said, okay, we want to take all the basics of the Spider-Man story and that character, but we want to update it to today, right? That was obviously their goal. We want kids of today to relate to this guy. But the problem is they so took apart who Peter Parker is and what makes him iconic and so relatable that I didn't find there was enough left there for me to really grab onto it.
Enough of this! I can't take this no more, goddammit.
No, look, this is the first time Peter Parker has been like, okay, Peter Parker is the one who always had like some kind of fixation on Gwen Stacy. But with this, it's like, it's role reversal. At first, he seems like he's pining for her, but in the movie, you actually learn that she seems like she's been pining more for him. And it's that thing where
he's got that Edward hair. So.
Well, he has the Edward hair. And the thing is, I think it's also that they're playing off that he's such a jerk that to me, I was like, okay, this is one of those chicks that goes after assholes.
Did you get expelled?
No, I didn't get expelled. I got community service. So, you want to, I don't know.
Want what?
I don't know, we could, or we could do something else, or we could, if you don't, I mean, like, we could,
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, either one.
Really?
Sure.
Okay, alright, good. Sounds good.
Okay. I can't right now. I can't right now. I'm so busy right now.
Me too. Oh.
But maybe
Yeah, just,
some other.
time. All right.
Okay. All right.
This is prejudice. Right, that's going on right here.
Just against what?
You brought this. I can't believe this baggage you brought into this movie.
I will
amongst
admit that
yourselves.
I came into this with strong baggage, no question. I did. I went into this as a huge Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero, no question. I walked into this prepared to wanting to love it, though, with everything I had. I didn't go into it with arms crossed. We'll see. I went into it going, I don't care about anything else. It's a Spider-Man movie, and I want this to succeed.
And you know what? It's shitty what you're doing right now, but at least you can admit that you came in with a little bit of prejudice.
What am I doing?
Hey, this Cyrus
You.
right here. Hey, Cyrus right here wore a goddamn Spider-Man shirt to the goddamn
That goes to show how much he came in expecting the Spider-Man that he wanted instead of accepting the Spider-Man that we had. You know, I can't
Oh
believe.
my God! How many times have I said it about things? You like whatever, Leon.
But that's you. I mean, because
It wasn't the movie that you came in expecting to be. So it should have been.
No, that's not all right. And listen,
You got me,
The
boss.
thing is, you have a problem. I don't. I don't know. I haven't heard your opinion yet.
See?
Well, what do you think, Corey?
Let me just try to through my eyes, somebody who came in here childlike and fresh.
The opinions of Corey Coleman are not necessarily those of the rest of Skill.com.
I laugh because this is sad. No, listen.
Preach to him, Corey.
I'm just.
Tell them where they're wrong.
And listen, I'm a fair man. I do understand where you're coming from because what this movie is really going to suffer from is a case of being rebooted too soon. People are just going to have too much familiarity with that movie not 3 years ago, but from Spider-Man 3, which was just a few years ago, much less a Spider-Man from 10 years ago. It's still on people's mind. And people, when you do it that quick, people are going to go in with a little distrust. They're going to go in and be a little guarded. But I myself, when I saw this, there were certain things that I thought needed to be fixed from the Sam Raimi movies. And I thought that's kind of what they did here. Now, I don't think that this is a perfect movie either. And it has some problems, and I'll get to those in a little while. But this whole thing, and it's just a difference of opinion. I see what you're talking about. I can see the side of this Peter Parker that makes you think he was a jerk. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's just, maybe it is what you're getting out of that story because they gave me enough backstory. Campbell Scott is his father in this, and the mother, some name actress I don't know, but some
you
chick.
never see her.
I've never seen that chick before.
I lost track of her name, but she is somebody who's been around for a while.
Yeah, I just don't remember her name. But anyway, they come in, they give you the story, and when you say he's a jerk, I just see it as a guy that's just really tormented. I mean, he's never known his parents. The parents never came back because that's the way the story. That's the way the story opens up. We see a young Peter Parker being dropped off because his father is in some kind of danger. He leaves Peter Parker with Uncle Ben, played by Martin Sheen, and Sissy Spacek is Aunt May.
No, it's
I'm Sally Field. When I said that, I was like, I fucked that up. But no,
they might as well be the same.
Yeah, it might as well be. They're about the same age, right? But Sally Field is Aunt May, and when they drop him off there. And you see Peter growing up, you're like, man, his parents never came back. He knows nothing about them. He's probably feeling a little neglected. He's a little, and that affects his popularity at school, which is zero. And so I saw this angst in him that made him kind of lash out every now and then. But where this movie, people might complain and say that it takes an hour for him to be Spider-Man. It's the same way in the other movie, except here people are thinking they're getting rehashed. The thing that made it really fresh for me here is I think Mark Webb, much like in 500 Days of Summer, does a really great job with Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield. That relationship between them, I thought, was playful enough to where, the superhero part of it is rehashed. It's not only rehashed of Spider-Man, but it's a rehash of things that we've seen already, including in the Avengers and every other superhero movies. But I thought those two leads were great. Not to mention, this movie has the advantage of bigger special effects and better special effects. So where you're talking about he looks alien, I'm thinking, man, these are the kind of cool poses and spider-like actions that I want to see in Spider-Man. And I heard you say that he didn't joke around as much in the movie.
Yeah, it's not. That's the cardinal sin of this film is that this Spider-Man's just not funny, and that's such an essential characteristic of Spider-Man. People are like, "Oh, that's just your baggage." No, it's the fucking character of Spider-Man.
See, I thought he was funny.
When with that one line that they have in the trailer.
The car scene is what they have in the trailer, but then later on in the movie when he's fighting the lizard, in which the lizard is another character that I'm having mixed opinions about, because I have mixed opinions about this movie. The lizard is a character where I think he's awesome. I think he looks great. I think he's a lot better looking than the Green Goblin, because I hate that suit. But who played Norman Osborn? It was
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe was more of a complex character. Rhys Ifans just doesn't have enough good writing to give him those juicy lines that Willem Dafoe had.
Character, but he's interestingly designed as a CG monster.
Exactly. But you know what? To address what you're saying, there was a scene where he's fighting the lizard in school, and he's giving off those one-liners that I thought were pretty adequate. Because I don't want him joking through this whole movie, because he's a guy that's just coming to his powers. 2 or 3 scenes where he's able to joke around, and we see that Spider-Man that we'll probably see in the next movie, where he is never going to shut up, and villains are going to be like, "Shut the fuck up, man! I can't win because you keep talking shit."
That's literally what happens in Spider-Man.
Well, the audience is going to be telling him to shut the fuck up, because I felt like telling him to shut the fuck up, because there's a difference between being witty and snarky as to just having throwaway lines, which that's what it seemed like they gave him. And you know what? And the thing is, the one thing I really thought about Spider-Man 4, at least, I was like, the one thing that I know they're going to get right is this relationship between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker, because I thought the guy did a masterful job in 500 Days of Summer with the dialogue that he had and giving the direction to the actors to perform it. But with this, I mean, I was like, wow, it must have been nothing but great writing. I probably was giving more credit to the director than I should have, because with this, the relationship that these two have is kind of forgettable. I mean, I
disagree.
I don't remember a single line of dialogue that made me like really understand why these two are even together.
Well, I agree with you there. I will say this: I thought Emma Stone actually brought a lot to Gwen Stacy by herself, but I felt like Andrew Garfield was so navel-gazing the entire time that she barely had anything to work with. I mean, she was really interesting. I thought Dennis Leary as her father, Captain Stacy, was great. I thought he had that exact right balance.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
no, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Leon's gonna go he's gonna go to a Subway.
I know. You know, and I'm waiting for you to chime in. So, please.
Yeah, I think it's Leon's turn, because I really want to know. You know what?
No, you've been sitting there, and I've been waiting for you to interject.
You disagree with us, and that you loved it, because I know this meant more to you than it did to
Leon,
anyone
actually,
I know, except maybe me. And I want you to have liked it.
Oh, no, go get a sandwich. I like a foot-long turkey on white, if you don't mind.
You are a foot-long turkey.
Hey!
A foot-long jive turkey.
I'm a 6-foot-long turkey.
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to have some incredible punchlines of it.
No, go ahead.
No. I mean, the thing is, you're saying, Cyrus. You know what? The thing is, I think back to you take a movie like Superman Returns, which a lot of people man, that movie was lame. It didn't give me what I wanted. But something about it that I liked on retrospect was you know what? It took Superman and it focused on the fact that he's an alien who's really separated and has a lot of loneliness, and it brought that out, which nobody had ever done. And what this movie does is it takes the fact that Peter Parker has this tragic, beginning, and yeah, he's pretty mopey and sad because there's a reason for it. As a superhero film, this is fine as long as you don't call it Spider-Man. It's just not a good Spider-Man film, I thought, because in making him so mopey and emo, it worked at first, but as it kept going, and he never really establishes that loving relationship with Uncle Ben. He's made to be updated to be such a typical teenager that, as you said, Cyrus, it takes away everything that's special about
it in Spider-Man 3.
So without that loving relationship with his aunt and uncle, when Uncle Ben gets killed, it's well, I didn't feel anything about that. And it's almost like he didn't care. You
never feel like he's the sweet kid.
He never really is. Even when his uncle is hey man, you're supposed to pick up Aunt May. She had to walk 12 blocks. And he's like, psh, she look all right to me. Why you fucking with me, man, old man?
The motivation for Spider-Man is not
the
there
motivation. The motivation isn't there. And the thing is, what it comes down to, I'm willing to take anything on its own. Like I said, the new angle that Mark Webb took with it, I'm like, all right, I'm willing to ride with that. But ultimately, throughout the movie, I was like, you know what? I don't want to compare this to Sam Raimi's movie, to the first movie, but every change here it's like a change for change's sake. All of it is lateral moves. None of it is better. It's funny to me that I know like your big problem with the first Spider-Man is how much you don't like the Green Goblin, like the look of it. But I thought the Lizard looked pretty terrible to me. I mean, like the CGI and the whole look of it, especially whenever he talked, I was like, wow, he's just like a big slee stack here.
What's wrong with that? you racist against slee stacks?
He's a weaker villain. Peter Parker is the movie, like even like the way the movie is set up, it's kind of all over the place. Like it does a lot. It spends a lot of time focusing on some of the new stuff, and then the important parts of the origin, it just rushes through real quick. I'm like, wow, we're past this already? Like the whole idea of like taking away the organic web shooters to give him mechanical web shooters. You know, there's a lot of people like you and Peter who are like, yeah, that's what I always wanted. But I'm like, well, he didn't really invent them.
Yeah, then they take even that.
Yeah, they
away
take
from
it. So
him.
It's stolen technology.
Yeah, he doesn't invent them.
Leon, can I?
They never run out of web. So what's the difference from making them organic?
Give us some time for the second movie, by the way. But you know, that was something I was disappointed by. His Uncle Ben's death.
No. When Uncle Ben dies in this one, weren't you kind of like, well, you kind of brought that shit on yourself?
Yeah, it was because in the movie, I mean, people, we're not spoiling anything we take.
Yeah, if you don't know that Uncle Ben dies.
I mean, yeah, if you don't know Uncle Ben dies, and the way he dies in this movie is that he's looking for Peter on the street, and he's trying to stop this guy that's running. Now, Uncle Ben saw this guy drop his gun. And this should have been the point where he's like, "Oh shit, he got a gun."
Yeah, that's what any normal person.
That's what he said.
Who has a fight or flight reaction
Yeah,
does.
he's like a Green Beret or something, which he clearly is.
If he's the one to the street yelling, like, "Peter, where are you?" That should have been the point where he saw the gun, like, "Well, Peter, I'll see you at home." Fuck this. But no, he sees the gun. And he tries to be a hero and grab the gun, and it's not so. It doesn't feel like the vengeance story that you want because. It's not the guy. It feels like the guy didn't intentionally kill him. It's
right.
It's like Uncle Ben is fighting him, and the gun goes off, and so you feel like, well, Uncle Ben should have been fucking with this guy, you know?
Exactly.
And then when he dies, he got this like he almost looks like Fred Sanford, you know, like
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I mean, Aunt May. I'm coming to join.
Peter.
Well, you know, it's the thing in the Spider-Man story, even in Sam Raimi's version, where you know Uncle Ben was the person who did the right thing, where Peter didn't do anything, which is what made this whole scenario happen. And I thought that they didn't focus on that. So I mean that's where the problem lies with the Spider-Man because you know. It's one of those things where, like I said before, he has no motivation to do what he's doing. I mean, they make Spider-Man. He does what he does out of pure vengeance.
Well, yeah. No,
and nothing else.
he's a typical selfish teenager, and I get that. Like I said, like I didn't want to criticize that too much because if there's anything I did like, the fact that like, okay, he's out fighting crime not because he's wanting to do good things. He's looking for that one asshole who killed his uncle, and that's a motivation to do what he's doing.
But the fact that it's vengeance, though, I mean, it doesn't lend itself to the superhero aspect of what Spider-Man is, where he saves people because he genuinely cares about people. I mean, the scene where
why is he a superhero? He's just the Punisher. At that
exactly.
point.
I was going to say that my biggest problem with it is, well, I had some problems with it, but one besides the Uncle Ben thing is that the movie ends again routinely like a lot of superhero movies. They either ended with something big like a big boss fight, or they end up on a skyscraper. This could have been easily the ending of the Avengers. All right, any other kind of superhero movie that you see, I'm beginning to feel like unless there's something really in there that. You know, you have a character that you love, or somebody just wrote some great dialogue, or you have a great team up, or some good relationships. I think that superhero movies in general are starting to follow a pattern except for Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. My problem, like I hate this movie has the worst stinger to try to tease that on the audience. Where I thought Batman Begins did such a masterful job of reintroducing the Joker. Sure. And of course, you know, not every movie can be Batman Begins. I'm not looking for Spider-Man to do that. But they just made it so uninteresting. Just that aspect of Peter's family being somewhat involved in this bigger picture that they only hinted at in the first, 40 minutes of the movie. That they don't bother to explore, even though they have characters involved in that big, mystery. They don't utilize any of the characters throughout the movie to make you go back to that, to make you think about it, to make it interesting, to make it feel like a whole new plot. I think that's what they intentionally had, but they dropped that ball, and it seemed like as the movie went on, the stupider it got because it got into the dumb cliche of the big ticking time bomb, and then it got into another aspect of let's show why Spider-Man because we have a great special effects sequence at the very end.
You know what?
Where I'm like, you know what? I'm not really buying it. I can't buy it because I've seen it all fucking.
But you've
before.
seen all this before. That's
You
the thing.
keep saying that, but I don't agree with
But
that
no, I'm not saying.
statement,
I'm saying we've all seen this before, but I can understand if you don't like it or if you do like it. I think it's safe to say now that the definition of Spider-Man is something different for everyone, especially when you have a movie like this that is rebooted so soon after the series before it. And I know some people are going to say that this movie might be too dark, it might be too emo. No, Spider-Man 3 was too emo and laughable. This had the right mixture of humor and humanity for myself. And one of the things that I did not talk about is the great action sequences that it had. Like one in particular where Spider-Man is saving these cars from being knocked over a bridge when the lizard starts to attack. And one car catches on fire with a little boy in it, and Spider-Man has to pull him out before the car falls. And that had me on the edge of my seat. And I'm thinking, this could be about Spider-Man, this could not be about Spider-Man. But it seems like that at the very least, make this a fun summer movie. But there's a lot more that I like about this movie than I didn't, despite the flaws that I mentioned. So I'm going to give this a high matinee. I'm on the verge of giving it a full price, but I do think that they dropped the ball on a couple of key sequences.
Okay. Well, if you loved or liked the Sam Raimi movies, this one is really kind of it's just unnecessary. Which I was hoping it would give me something to make me go like, well, this is its thing. And I held on with it for a long time. Now, I didn't dislike the movie. I agree with you. It is a fun summer movie. It can be. It wasn't like I minded watching it. I wasn't sitting there hating on it. But I just noticed like, wow, there's nothing I'm loving here. I spent a lot of time just mentally yelling at the screen, like just want to tell him, get off the ground and put your mask back on. Man, I mean, really, he takes his mask off so much. I'm like, you know what? Why'd you even make the thing in the first goddamn place? The thing is, it ends up being just an okay movie, just because even though it does some good things, there's a lot of times where it's just kind of lagging and wasting time. The villain is not strong at all. So, weak motivations. I didn't like the CG on the lizard. I was just kind of like, wow, you really couldn't find anything better for this guy to do. Cole's brought up, he looked more like Killer Croc than the actual lizard. And the movie's too long. It really could use some editing. And I wasn't that invested. It was a lack of investment in the characters, because even with the flaws in whatever Sam Raimi movies, my investment in those characters made it to where whatever happens later, I was willing to ride with it. And with this, I was like, well, I'm here. I'm not hating it, but there's nothing about this exciting me. So it just comes to being a low matinee for me.
I agree with most of what you're saying. I actually didn't have that big of a problem with the CG of Killer Croc, but there was something
Lizard.
There's something about his mouth line that I was like, wow, that looks almost too much like the Joker's makeup.
Yeah.
And that I'm sure was not coincidental, because
You mean the smile?
Yeah, exactly.
that
The way
smile.
they did it looked like that carved smile thing. It was like that same angle and everything. I was like, yeah, I can't help but think about that as I'm watching him, and this guy ain't got nothing in common with the Joker.
What do you call that skin condition where you have like it's really dry and flaky?
Eczema.
Eczema. Yeah, it was when they gave me human face. It did like he had an extreme case of eczema.
Yeah, so
boy.
Spider-Man just show up. Hey, I don't have an antidote, but I have some cream.
Yeah,
you put
I'm
on
not
that.
gonna-
Here, rub this cocoa butter. on you.
His face looked like your knees, Leon.
Get your ass to Walgreens. Yeah, quit tearing up the city and just look for a Walgreens.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, you're right, Corey, when you say, hey, you came in there with baggage. Yeah, damn right I did. I've seen every superhero movie probably ever made at this point. And it has less to do with Spider-Man itself than it has to do with the fact that, like, I've seen all these movies and I've seen them do the things that Spider-Man does much better than Spider-Man's doing it. And yeah, the bar has been raised. We're at that point, especially when you're selling it as like the untold story. Finally, the real Spider-Man movie, as if something was wrong with those others. It's like, no, they just want to, it's Spider-Man, as Koho said, by lieu of a marketing department said, man, people love the Dark Knight. We need to make it more like Dark Knight, but we need more teen stuff there for the
It's a little
Twilight game.
Dawson's Creaky.
The Twilight games, we got to give it that feel.
Right. The Twilight games.
I mean, all that stuff is so blatantly, it's just wearing it on its sleeve that I couldn't help but notice it. I didn't want to, but it kept smacking me in the face with how that stuff was more important to them in the making of this film than actually making me like these characters at all or believe that this story is real, where something I feel like Marvel in particular has achieved with spectacular results in all their recent films. At the same time, if you can take all that away from it and just go, it's a summer movie. I'm just watching this. Fuck everything else. Fuck like judging it by any other standard. Just watching it as a summer movie. It's perfectly passable in that sense. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just not really all that good either. I'm obviously going to watch this again at some point because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. But I could not get into it, and this will be my biggest disappointment this year because of that. Because I wanted this to be great.
So what are you giving?
I'm just going to give this a rental. I wish I could give it more. I hate that's all I can give.
You should hate yourself.
Yeah, I debated about that because I'm like, man, am I at rental or matinee? I'm just so like, it's such a low matinee.
Where do I begin? It's this version of Spider-Man has more in common with the Tin Man than he does Spider-Man, because the guy just needs a heart, and that was my biggest complaint about the movie, is that it didn't feel fun. All the little things that they want, all the fan service that really at this point it is fan service, all the fan service that they wanted to give Spider-Man to the fans who were like, well, where are his mechanical web shooters? When you look at it, they really like they threw in Venom in Part 3. That's what I thought they did with all the little things people were nitpicking about. They gave you that, but they threw it at the screen. There was no reason for it. There was nothing to help motivate the story. There was nothing to make it interesting. I mean, having Peter Parker get fucking his web shooting in his face look like, yeah, this is the producer jerking off in your face right now. That you're on board with this thing and you're going to play along. But the thing is, I'm giving it a rental, and because it is one of those movies. The more I think about it, the more flaws I see in it.
You know what, Corey?
And it's sad.
What?
Co-host is right. I got to give it a rental.
No,
also.
you don't. I'm already.
Why just co-host? What about me?
No. Well, between the two of you, I'm like, wow, you guys are right. That's a rental.
I like the way you start out saying, "Don't let them influence you," and now who's the influence? Wow, weak.
Hey, when they're right, they're right. You call me names all you want.
Just weak.
Just
weak.
You talking about me or the Spider-Man?
I'm talking about you. You need. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna give you and co-host the card to my therapist. And here's $1.
Yeah, that therapist has worked wonders on you.
No, this is $1 for you.
Why? What do I need that for?
You can tip the bellboy for bringing all that baggage in.
I gotta stop him because I created him.
That's not your job.
Maybe it is.
'38 of New York's finest versus one guy in a unitard.
If you want the truth, Peter, come and get it.
I am issuing an arrest warrant for the masked vigilante known as Spider-Man.
I'm in trouble.